let's continue on here. I got some Jordan Peterson. Apparently, Jordan Peterson broke down in sniffles a little bit.
Is that what you do? You break down
Jordan
in sniffles?
Jordan got a little case of the cries on a TV show recently. They were asking him about criticism that he gets. And of all the things that have been said about Jordan Peterson, of all the things that he's been criticized for and everything else, I never would have thought that it was Olivia Wylde's criticism that would cause Jordan to break down on television.
Why, dude? Of all people.
I have a couple questions. One, why is Olivia Wylde talking about Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why are they swimming in the same circles? And number two, why is Jordan letting Olivia Wylde get to him? Because, like,
no, it's
Jordan Peterson's gone through this weird thing in the last couple years where he's another internet guy who got a little too serious and started taking too many things to heart.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't see him as a crier, especially over something a lady said about him, I guess.
It'd be funny if the news guy was like just totally unprofessional and he was like, "Oh, cry baby. Oh, cry baby, cry now." It's like, geez, you dick.
What a bitch.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly.
What a bitch.
Beta male. Beta.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
I love Jesse.
Now, you said that you said something about the lobsters. There were lobsters in your room or something like that. Because I got to be honest with you, Jordan, I find lobsters to be beta.
Well, you know, I was having apple cider vinegar. Beta.
Everything's beta.
I love that I love when Jesse Lee Peterson interrupts callers just to say beta and then lets them go, okay, I'm a bitch. I'll continue on with my thought.
Kind of keeps him in check.
Yeah, here we go.
Director Olivia Wylde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weird...
I mean, so far, the character does sound slightly based on Jordan Peterson.
A little bit.
Loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
I will say this about incels and Jordan Peterson, and then I'll let him do his response. I don't want to stop him every 10 seconds, so I'll stop now. We were talking about shows with cult followings and people who have cult-like behaviors. I don't really blame the personalities so much until they start fostering it and encouraging it. But I don't blame them for attracting that kind of crowd because you can't help that. I think a lot of the people who take the cult view on Jordan Peterson, and anytime I put a clip out of Jordan Peterson, they downvote the shit out of it. How dare you? He's fighting for the culture, this and that. I feel like the cult is always made up of the incel types because they don't have anything. So they tie on to Jordan because Jordan's now the thing they have. And if that's all you have, then you're going to fight like hell and go crazy about it. And you're going to be over the top about this guy. And unfortunately, in a weird way, that kind of hurts that guy's brand, if you want to call it
Right, he's
that.
the thing that's giving them purpose, but he never meant to be that guy for somebody.
Like, in a weird way, people like that. We mentioned Red Bar earlier, but Jordan Peterson, to a larger extent, these guys are almost enslaved to their most loyal fans because their most loyal fans are not going to leave unless that person tries to reach out to a larger audience and goes, yeah, these fans are fucking weird, but look, the message is this, and you got to hear me out, and blah, blah, blah. They're afraid to do that because the minute you do that, those hardcores who would have never left as long as you pat them on the head, they're fucking gone. They get mad real easy.
Right, they're like, what the fuck? It's not about me anymore.
And they have abandonment issues. Let's be very honest. This is all they had. So Jordan and guys like him, unfortunately, when they start taking themselves too seriously, they start becoming slaves to their cult in a weird way.
Sure. Why not? People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. What a terrible thing to do that is.
Yeah, but okay, but and I'm pausing. I can't help it. I'm a fucking blabbermouth. What can I say? But I'll say this about, Jordan goes, oh, I'm a blabbermouth, poor me. This is kind of a passive-aggressive, cunty women's way
It is.
to answer this. But also, I'm speaking to disaffected young men. That's not a bad thing in and of itself, but a lot of these disaffected young men have proven that they can't handle certain shit in public, like they go too far with stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen it before. There's no problem with you speaking to them. I think what people criticize Jordan for is that he throws red meat out to him to keep him happy, like he keeps him fed. And it's like, dude, you're kind of leaning on that crowd a little too much.
Yes.
Oh, and now he's crying. Oh, don't cry. Jordan, don't cry. Oh, God, it's so weird.
Thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
Oh, gay. Kind of
Making
gay.
me emotional. Talk about that.
Well, God,
Oh, no.
it's very difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category.
Dude, at least Andrew Tate doesn't cry like a bitch.
Yeah, this gets uncomfortable.
I've said this about Jordan before, and his fans got on me and they ripped me apart because, again, I don't dislike Jordan Peterson. I don't.
You're just observing.
I'm just observing. I've been saying this for a while. Jordan's breaking down. You know when he locked himself in that room and made those videos after Twitter
Yes.
Suspended him for the Elliot Page stuff? He locked himself in a room and made a bunch of really confrontational, yelling at the wall videos. And I'm like, Jordan's breaking, man. Jordan's this is a guy that needs help. Jordan's got to back away from the public for a while. He's crying because Piers Morgan of all... Nobody should cry in front of Piers Morgan.
No.
Nobody should cry in front of
ever.
Piers. Piers Morgan is not a guy you cry in front of. I think there's 3 people you're allowed to cry in front of. I think Oprah is still one of them. I think you have to sometimes, especially if you committed a crime.
I would have said Ellen when she had her show.
Maybe you can cry in front of Ellen and, the Super Bowl. I think those are the only places. But Jordan, I mean, he's crying over what Olivia Wylde said about him. Jordan, we gotta take a break from this shit, man.
Piers is probably eating this up, though, huh?
This is what I hate about the news. Notice when he started crying, they went to the Zoom camera.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Oh my God, we have Jordan Peterson crying on our show.
It's kind of
Get it.
And you get these casual insults, these incels. What does it mean? It's these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women.
Okay, but also, let's not give. I don't want to paint incels as this group of guys. They're not what either side says about them. They're not these Nazi asshole bastards. They're not that. But they're also not these guys who, oh gosh darn it, I can't figure out how to make myself attractive to women. Robin Hood's Lost Boys in Sherwood Forest or something like that.
Weird spectrum.
No, they're guys who get really fucking pissy when women don't like them. And you fucking cunt. They're kind of the before the internet, they were the guys who, when they got turned down in a bar, went, well, she's probably a fucking lesbian.
Well, and now look at him. He's crying. He's like, oh, I thought you were supposed to give these people a voice and help them.
Have you been on the internet, Jordan? I believe the incels have plenty of voices.
You also cannot help the internet.
No,
So
you can't
watch
help the
out.
internet, Jordan.
Don't stress yourself out thinking you're going to help everybody.
That's my thing. I'm not, again, this is going to come off as, and if we put this up, his fans are going to quit shitting on Jordan. He's important. If you see this as me shitting on Jordan, then you're hearing me wrong. This guy needs a fucking break, man. He thinks he's carrying the weight of these people's burdens on his shoulders, and it's clearly breaking him down.
Right. He's very much if I don't help these people, nobody will.
Right. Jordan, there's no helping a lot of these guys, all right? If women say, oh, I'm just not into you, they go off and they rant and they rave and they do fucking women are bullshit. It's like the women with septum piercings. All men are scumbags. They're cut from the same cloth, Jordan. You can't help them all. Just have your message, say what you want to say, go on your show, stop worrying about all this shit. That's the problem with people who get internet famous, is they don't just do their job and then go home and have a life. They read comments. They go in and they take the comments seriously. I moderate all of our comments on our page.
I wonder how that goes sometimes.
And I read the stuff, every video, you're always going to have people who shit on you and say that you suck. They're funny now. You just read oh, you suck. And because what I think about is I go, I always get confused. I go, I would have just left if I were you, bro.
I know. I'm never the type of person to be like, God, I really hate what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm not the kind of person to take it personally when someone goes, I fucking hate this. This video sucks. The thing I always get confused about, I was like, if I were you, brother, I wouldn't have listened to another second of this. I would have just been out of here.
Find the thing you do like.
Do you know how much of this, because this show isn't for everyone. It's absolutely fair for someone with their taste to find this show to be shit.
That's kind of how I think I'd respond. If somebody I knew said, I really don't like your show, I'd be like, oh, that's fair.
I can see where you might,
understand.
depending on how you see things, might not like what we do. But I certainly, I would tell that. I almost have empathy for a person who hates my show and comments about it, because I almost go dude, then then go. By all means, like, go.
It's okay.
Don't do this to yourself.
You're trying to shove them out the nest when they don't like the thing.
I can tell when someone comments on this show when they just start. I can tell immediately if they're going to end up being a fan or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some people who go, they come in the chat, they go, this sucks. I'm like, oh, that guy's going to be a fan pretty soon.
I kind of think they say that because they can feel a tinge of like, oh, I kind of like this, but I don't think I'm supposed to, so I'm going to just say I don't.
But then there are some people who like leave a long comment on like a Schaub video. I'm like, well, I'm never going to reach this guy. Like, that's fine. So let's watch Jordan Peterson cry some more.
Be picky. That's your gift, man. Demand high standards from your men. Fair enough. But all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
When she said that, Olivia.
Okay. God damn, man. Jordan is really one-siding this thing. A lot of and I'm guessing he's talking about internet type incels.
Okay, because I was going to say that's kind of off the deep end.
Brother, it ain't a one-way street. Like, those guys certainly say and do enough to get a little heat coming back their way. It goes back to my mantra. It goes back to what I always say about all of this stuff. All we got to do is take a breath, back away, stop being so involved, and stop taking it so goddamn seriously. All of this stuff moves on. How many times have we seen in our culture, someone's upset about something one day, and by Tuesday, it's done?
Yep.
You know, that's the same thing
it.
with all this internet shit. Just let it go. You bury yourself in the tweet thread, and you get so mad you can't see that, like, in 12 hours, this is going to be forgotten in history.
And that's another problem. You're looking at tweets, okay? These aren't like people. They're not talking to you as people. They're
funny.
They're being funny, and they're, typing behind a screen. It's okay.
Olivia Wylde. It stung you, didn't it? I saw the
Oh,
reaction.
by that time, that as far as critiques go, that was kind of low level. I mean, once I got painted as Red Skull, magical super Nazi, that was kind of the end of the insults. There's no
Wait, so Red Skull is what pushed him over the edge?
I don't know.
Once they compared me to a Marvel character when I'm clearly a DC fella, that was the last straw for me.
Magical super Nazi,
Yeah.
though.
I mean, if you're going to be a Nazi.
But might as well be magical. and
Magical super Nazi is, I mean, that's a pretty badass Nazi.
I think so.
place past that. So when Olivia Wylde made those comments, the first thing I did was go look at the preview for a movie, which I quite liked. I thought I would go see that movie probably.
God, you forget he's Canadian sometimes until he does shit like that.
Boy, do you?
Yeah, quit being so nice. Well, no, the way he talks. But I mean, the attitude. He's got a very Canadian attitude. Oh, God bless you there. Oh, sorry. Ooh.
Well, and then
Perhaps I will.
easy crying too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind
It didn't really bother me. My
What a
family and I
bitch.
talked about it right away, and we were able to respond to it with some degree of humor, which then people completely misunderstood. I said I hope that, that if I had to be played by someone, I think it's Chris Wylde, he's a very good-looking man, and so that seems all right.
Quite frankly, I'd like a big swinging dick to be playing me in the movies. I'd like him to have a big hanging cock off him, and that Chris Wylde, he's a dish.
He's a dish.
All right, so there you go. Jordan Peterson breaking down on Piers Morgan's show. Like, the guy needs a break.
I can't imagine.
I think he just got too tied up in all this shit.
I can't imagine wanting to make a movie on him. Is he that interesting?
Well, and that's another thing to Olivia Wylde. I would say, like, fuck it, mind your business.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like, mind your business. Like, you got to take a Jordan Peterson shot. It's not that important.
Don't you have more things to do? I don't know what she does now, but
Makes movies still.
okay,
And gets served divorce papers while she's on stage by Jason Sudeikis.
that's right.
Oof. Gray Idol says, Jordan crying again. He needs to get back on the benzos. Bumbaclo says, 12 rules to cry in your room. I say Gutierrez with $2 says he must see Olivia like Jeremy sees Gina Carano. Wow, that's a deep cut.
Jeez.
Nate says this interview is amazing already. I think, look, I might get shit for this. I like Piers Morgan. I mean,
He's fine.
I like him for what he is, Bumbaclo says JP is the incel daddy. I mean, yeah, and if you're going to be the incel daddy, you got to stick up for him. I get it, but
I mean, yeah, he does kind of paint himself as the one who takes all of the poor little
Right. Like he's the father of all the lost boys.
ladyless men under his wing.
And it's like, Jordan, some of these guys, you got to cut them loose, you know? Some of these guys they're alone for a reason. I would venture to say, and maybe I'm wrong, I have no science to back this up, but I think a lot of people who are alone because they've made choices that lead to them being alone. Like being homeless, you've made choices that have made you that way. Yes, there are absolutely people who have gotten a fair shake, life isn't fair, and now they're bitter. And to have a Jordan Peterson, they can channel some of that energy. Okay, I get that. But Jordan, you're making yourself the father of these lost boys, and it's fucking breaking you down. You've lost your sense of humor. You're crying on television. Just give yourself a break, buddy.
Not only that, but I think when Big Daddy Jordan like harbors all these guys under him and takes care of them and stuff, he's kind of facilitating that same kind of behavior, like making it keep going that way, because if they've always got him to go back to and cry to, like why try something different ever?
Right. Thank you to Brett for 316s.
Well, goddamn, son, thank you for the 316s and the goddamn PayPal, you piece of trash.
Appreciate that, bud. And also $5 coming in from Elias. So we'll knock, about 10 off the goal there. Thank you very much. We are, I can't even remember what we were at now. 2:30.
Okay.
Away from our goal today. Thank you guys very much for your generosity. Flex, we appreciate that, buddy.
Thank you.
Rasputin of Raymond says, I used to like him until he started to insist on himself. Yeah, I think that's kind of what happened, is he started to take it seriously a little too often.
Yes.
What's more uncomfortable, Theo leaving the King and the Sting or Jordan Peterson crying? That dude, Theo making his announcement on the King and the Sting was so uncomfortable because he didn't want to be there and Brendan didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So
that was something that nobody wanted to do live.
Yeah. Blur says incel is just a shaming term, though. I get that, but it's also kind of become a cultural shorthand at that point. And some of them kind of own it in a weird way. Shane F. says Peterson had that breakdown before and wasn't the same since. He does this comeback with his daughter doing her thing, and she's a dumb fuck. He props her up and runs down other women just like her. That's true. Jordan's daughter is kind of what's a non-legally actionable term I can use?
I don't know what you're looking for.
Let me say this. She is not a scammer and a schemer. A schemer isn't an actionable word. She's a schemer. She's got hustles.
Like angles?
Yeah, and he'll kind of shit on women like that, but he'll ignore it when it's his own daughter. Michaela Peterson, I don't like. Michaela Peterson is that rich kid, or that rich guy's kid who didn't roll up the shirt sleeves but kind of rode on daddy's coattails.
A lot of people will look over things just because it's family.
Yeah. King Kong Dong says, I hate this show. It fucking sucks. I still don't know why I've been listening for the last 8 years. Yeah, we're waiting for you to figure it out too, bud. Sometimes I hate watch Vosh and Hassan, and then I get sick and move on, says D. Gulag. Yeah, hate watching is a form of fandom, so definitely be careful with that kind of shit. Skeezy says you almost want to take them by the hand and bring them to the exit. Like, be free. You're not forced to be here. Right, like Jordan Peterson, I just want to go, Jordan, you don't have to get their back. You can just talk about issues and shit.
That's the point of a show.
Sage says, nah, this show just sucks. I hate donate and hate watch. Sigma grind set rule 69. Bumbaclo says even Ethan Klein made him cry.
Really?
You know what
that happen?
You know what we've never thought? Maybe Jordan's going through menopause.
Sympathy menopause.
We've never theorized that maybe Jordan's just going through menopause.
He is very cry-y.
Labglass says, I've said this show sucks for 8 years. That's why I give my money. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Okay, Aaron, whatever you think, I'm not listening anymore, says Rusty Grammar. God, you've been saying that for like 10 years now.
Rusty just got a VIP pack.
Attaboy. Patio Monk says, if you don't learn how to stop pausing it all the time, Aaron, it brings the show down. I am what I am, sir. I am what I am. Hulkamasha Baby says, I thought your mantra was suck the farts right out of my butt. I have many a mantra.
Oh, that's good.
Many a mantra. Bumbaclo says magical super Nazi LOL. He is very colorful with his language.
Yeah, that is weird.
Jordan was talking unedited, but all I hear is edited cut up voice from Jordan. I fucking love those clips that people cut up to make it gay.
Yes.
was so goddamn funny. All right, guys. Coltrane says on the Jordan Peterson, he should hang out with YouTuber Roma Army and Jennifer Molesky. He'd get along great with them. I don't know these broads.
Nope.
I don't know them. Yeah, Jordan Peterson's daughter kind of brought Andrew Tate into the fold.
That's a
little
weird
bit.
happening, too.
Isn't it? Well, they fucked. They were doing some fucking.
Imagine fucking Andrew Tate.
I would say imagine fucking Michaela P. Both of them. Maybe that's why it worked out so well. Somebody told me the other day, didn't we look her up? They said, dude, I'm sorry, but Michaela Peterson's hot. And I'm like, I don't see it.
Aaron is so excited, though, just to look up a chick, just to check.
Like, look, I don't see it with Michaela Peterson. I'm not saying she's a beast or anything. I'm not saying she's ugly. I'm saying there's something weird about her.
She's somebody's hot.
Yeah, like there's something weird about Michaela. I can't figure out why I don't know. It's not for me.
Because she's an adult that wears pigtails.
Could be the adult that wears pigtails thing. I guess I should probably check my feelings on that.